Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
So I love E3. It's kind of like Christmas for me, and for me and my partner, we always sit and watch all of the conferences, and they run quite late here in the UK, so it becomes quite an exhausting week. But we really love it, and I'd really like one day to be able to cover it, or any kind of create some kind of coverage for it. But I'll leave that to better-minded people. But I would like to talk a little bit about each of the conferences and the kind of things that I would like to see from them in regards to moving forward with the next generation of consoles. So first of all, we've got Xbox and Microsoft. Now, Microsoft had a really, really bad time last year, and they need to do something to kind of get out of it. And I'd like to see what they need to convince me why I should buy a console this year. And to do that, they need to show me some games. Now, they don't. A lot of the games that they're going to show, I assume, are going to be released next year, or even the year before that, the year after that. But I need to see some games that are coming out at the end of this year that will convince me that I need to buy an Xbox One, because right now there is so much overflow with games coming out for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation and all that kind of thing, that I don't feel the need to buy a next generation console. All the games I want to play are for the previous generation. And I mean, looking at things like Mortal Kombat X that was just announced, it's also going to be on last generation of consoles, but it's coming out next year sometime. And for me, they need to start getting away from that. Some people are like, Arkham Knight's going to be for the next generation of consoles only, but that's been delayed to next year. So I need to see the things that I want to play on my Xbox One for this year at E3. Another thing I think they should do, purely out of respect or trying to kind of repair their damage, is this whole 1080p 60 frames per second debate that's going on right now, with a lot of the Xbox One games not running as good compared to the ones on PlayStation 4. So I think for those cross-platform games, there really does need to be that parity, just for people to not feel like they're experiencing a lesser game on the Xbox One. And if you look at things like Metal Gear Solid 5 and the prologue, that really did run a lot more poorly on the Xbox One and the Xbox 360, and I think they need to start repairing that. And the fact that they've got Kinect out of the box now, it might be more possible, but they really do need to start doing something about that, because I personally don't really care about it. As long as the game looks good and runs good, that's fine, but a lot of people do care about it, and they really do need to do something about it. I like Call of Duty. I really enjoy playing Call of Duty every year. I understand that a lot of people find it's the same thing every year, and it's a bit of a retread, copy and paste, that kind of thing. And, I think that there's a lot of truth to that. And the thing with Activision is they do tend to kind of whore it a little bit, and perhaps don't give the developers enough time to do what they want to do and all that kind of thing. So I'm really happy that there's a 3-year development cycle with 3 developers now taking on the Call of Duty franchise. And this year with Sledgehammer doing their first iteration of Advanced Warfare, I'm excited to see what they bring to it, and hopefully they are able to innovate and do something a little bit different with the first-person shooter. My worry is that because we've got Kevin Spacey in it, it's going to be the same kind of Call of Duty, but with Kevin Spacey. And I think it's very likely that Kevin Spacey might pop up in the Xbox conference to kind of whore himself out and whore the game a little bit and try and sell it. But that's not what I want. I want them to come out and I want them to show the game. No kind of smoke and mirrors, to show the game, show why it's really, really good. Show why it's different from all the other Call of Duties, why it's better than all the other Call of Duties, and show us why we should want to buy it again. Oh, Kinect. Kinect's kind of a thorn in the side of Xbox, and I've always defended Kinect ever since the first iteration of it on the Xbox 360. It didn't work very well, but it was kind of innovative. It was a good idea, but they just never followed through with it in terms of how it performed with games, or how it was kind of a usable device. I know some people got a lot of use of it on the PC with the developer tools and creating different kinds of experiences that weren't games. But it never really worked for games, and it hasn't really worked again with this new Kinect sensor. And that's why they've made this decision to take it out of the box, sell the Xbox One a bit cheaper. Something that they should have done from the start. Something that there were so many complaints and all these kind of things, and it was kind of the final nail in Kinect's coffin. Now, I don't want any pandering that, Kinect is still really great, and all these opportunities and experiences that you'll get to see on it are just going to be great. I want them to make a decision. It hasn't worked, so either put the time and development and the money into making it work and getting the games that it needs to survive, or pushing it to the side, acknowledging that it hasn't worked and moving on. And I don't want this kind of pandering in between where they're trying to say it's going to be great and there's all these possibilities that just aren't going to come to fruition, and it's still kind of in the ether. They waste their time with it, and ultimately no one really cares, sadly. And I really hope that they don't pander. Make the decision either way, whichever way they want to go with it. I'm on board with that, but make a decision either way rather than staying in the middle somewhere floating around. Oh yeah, great man. I don't know what that accent is.